What's up, you amazing hacker? I hope you're doing well today. A subscriber asked me, for new bug bounty hunters, would you tell them to go over all of the available vulnerabilities, or would you tell them to pick one specific vulnerability and go very deep into it in a way to avoid other researchers? Well, I have two advices for that. First of all, I would like to tell you that it's really wise to get a basic knowledge of all the vulnerabilities that are out there, so you can see which ones you really like and which ones you don't. And then you pick one that you really like and you go much deeper into it. For example, I really like my cross-site scripting bugs, and I also like insecure direct object references, so I went really deep into those. I looked into automation for them, I looked into what parameters to fuzz, I looked into what fuzzing strings I could use, I looked into what it meant when I entered some parameter pollution and what the output was, and I would also look at some ways to find those specific vulnerabilities on hidden endpoints. And that's the second tip I would have for you guys. It's really important that you know how to look for those hidden endpoints. So I have a couple of things I would advise you guys to learn early, which is first of all, look at the JavaScript and learn how to read JavaScript code, because I can't tell you guys what kind of precious treasures I found in these JavaScript files. Sometimes you can find things like coupon codes straight in the JavaScript files. Sometimes you can find things like cross-site scripting filters and how that will tell you some insight on how to evade them. You can find hidden endpoints, API keys, secrets in there, all kinds of stuff. So I would highly advise you to learn that. And second of all is to learn some tools like Link Finder, GUA. Learn them to find some ways to find those hidden endpoints, wayback URLs, all that kind of stuff that'll help you find those hidden endpoints and get some logical thinking skills. Now you may think, what the hell are you talking about? How do I get some logical thinking skills? Well, CTFs are a great opportunity for that, but besides CTFs, you can also do some other things like just hack the box, try hack me, just some basic logical thinking skills. They might not be directly applicable in your in your bug bounty hunting, but they will give you some logical thinking skills which you need in your everyday life and in your bug bounty life as well. Now, some other advice I can give you if you're just getting started into bug bounty hunting is you're going to make some mistakes and you're going to report some reports that are going to be not applicable. The first, I think, 12 reports that I wrote were non-applicable, and if I read them back, they're bullshit. I can tell you guys about them. I was testing this program and they had sequential IDs. What I mean by that is like 1, 2, 3, 4, that's sequential. So they had sequential IDs and I was like, you should never use sequential IDs. It's really bad because attackers can easily enumerate all of the resources and that kind of stuff. But I didn't even know I was enumerating public resources. All of the things I was looking at was supposed to be publicly available. So it's really stupid of me that I wasn't even able to understand what I was testing. And that's okay. I can forgive myself for that. And so should you, You'll make those mistakes. I still have negative reputation on HackerOne. It's not something I'm proud of, but the first reports I wrote were garbage. And I can totally see now why. So don't beat yourself up over that. Not at all. You deserve praise for even trying to be a hacker, because it's super hard and it's a super saturated space. So what you're doing, even just trying to get into this space, is super hard. For the beginners, the number one advice I would give is just keep on trying. You never know how far you are away from the goal, and it's really important that you persist and keep on going at it. It's only a matter of time before you find your first real vulnerability. It's really that simple, because if you keep on trying, eventually you're going to hit on an endpoint that other hackers haven't tried before. And this is also a tip I can give you guys. Use the application until you're bored. Test it until you're bored, because when you're bored, your mind starts doing crazy stuff and you start thinking of stupid scenarios that you can test, but those stupid scenarios often lead to the best vulnerabilities. So test every single possibility that you've exhausted, and then just go through your list again and see if you can try to think of any variations of what you've tested already, and see if you can try to test them maybe on some other endpoints. Look up some other vulnerability types like XXE. Try to see if you can find how to look for XXE and try to see if you have some on your target. Maybe that's an interesting thing. SSTI might be interesting. There's so many different things that you can try on your target that I don't think it's even possible to exhaust all of the possibilities. But of course, like, you can get bored on a target, and if you really do feel like you're not finding anything anymore, first of all, just try to look for a different vulnerability, list the ones you have tried, and then look for a list of all the vulnerabilities possible and just do the ones that you haven't tried already. But second of all, if you really, really feel like you're stuck, just go to a different program. Try a responsible disclosure program. That's something really important. Don't just always go for the ones that pay you bounty, because that's not the way it works. You know, the ones that pay bounty have a lot more hackers on them, so they will be a lot more saturated. You'll find a lot less. The scope is usually a lot smaller. So that's why I always recommend that you guys start with a vulnerability disclosure program. And those things, they're going to give you guys points. And those points are, again, going to give you guys invites, which is really important. Those private programs, they have the best vulnerabilities out there, I promise you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this advice, and I hope I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye, everybody.